Kids love playing at McDonald's.
Come on, Ma, let's play.
Stereo. Coffee, KOFY, Stereo TV 20, San Francisco.
Everything you're about to see and hear is true. Real cops, real cases compiled from actual events. Police stories told by the cops who lived them and will remember them the rest of their lives. Top Cops.
A cop has to have a healthy fear in order to survive, but no one can prepare you for sheer, stark terror. All I could think about was my son, Guy. He was 7. I remember thinking how I loved him more than anything. My life didn't flash before my eyes, but my life was changed forever.
Guy, where are you? I'm in here. It's time for you to go to bed, Guy. But, Mom, it's in the middle of the show.
It's just another few minutes, Connie.
Please. Why is it when I was 7 I had to be in bed before this? Please? All right, but as soon as it's over. Honey!
I'll make sure.
Good night, Mom. Good night, honey. I will see you two in the morning. Bye, Mommy.
Be careful now.
I worked the graveyard shift. I usually headed out around 10:30 and did my tour, taking whatever calls the dispatcher gave me. The first assignment I got was a report of a break-in that looked fairly routine. After several years and taking hundreds of these, I knew what to expect. I knew I'd arrive at the scene after the occupants had come home and found their TV gone. The trail would be ice cold. When you answer as many of these calls as I had, you begin to see the same addresses. I remembered this building. It used to be crowded with prostitutes and drug dealers, but lately it had taken a turn for the better. I walked up the steps, and as I looked down the hall, I noticed that the door had been kicked off its hinges. Careful, sir.
Something they can do for you, officer?
Have you all had a break-in?
Everything's okay now.
May I?
Can you tell me what happened?
I made a mistake, officer. I busted in the door. A hooker took me for $2 grand, and I thought she came in here. I broke in the door and realized I was in the wrong place. I already told these folks I was willing to pay for the damages.
Wait a second. Do you all know each other?
Yeah, I know him. I already told you I'd pay for the door. It's the truth. It's the God's truth, officer.
The young man seemed really calm. The woman didn't. There was something in her manner that told me, don't turn your back on this guy. Robinson said he knew the young couple, but they didn't know him. I didn't know what I had. Most people who are getting ready to get aggressive show signs. You can see it in their eyes, their motions, something. But this guy was as cool as a cucumber. He kept repeating he had the money, and it was getting on my nerves.
We can settle this now. I mean it. I'll pay.
Sir, I understand you are willing to pay for the door. Now, if that's the way the landlord wants to settle it, then that's how we'll settle it. No report, no arrest, no nothing. So why don't we all just relax and wait?
I've got the money right here.
I couldn't believe I'd been shot. I tried reaching for my gun, but my left arm was useless. I couldn't keep my balance. All I could think about was my son, Guy. I kept thinking, he's going to grow up without me.
Help me with him!
I was 26, and I knew I was going to die. That second bullet had been fired directly at my nose. I felt the bullet go over the roof of my mouth like a hot poker and slam me back. I could taste the gunpowder. I'd seen shootings before, and you don't survive getting shot in the face.
Top Cops is brought to you in part by
Clear Eyes. It removes redness and moisturizes, too. Go Greyhound and leave the driving wheels.
The same as a sweltering jungle.
Ugh.
But the temperature inside a Winter Fresh mouth tastes... Winter Fresh gum from Wrigley's.
Icy cool flavor. Icy cool bread.
That lasts. And lasts. And lasts. You know what I'm talking about. Try Winter Fresh gum for icy cool breath that lasts.
WV20. Coffee. KOFY, San Francisco.
Skin? It wakes me up. It's so itchy. I used Cordaid. Now I use Gold Bond Cream.
A clinical study showed that at 10 minutes, Gold Bond relieved the itch more effectively than Cordaid.
Gold Bond Cream relieved my itch.
Gold Bond medicated cream. No faster itch relief.
I get no time out for pain.
Stops pain on the spot.
I couldn't hear the third bullet, but I could see the flames coming off the barrel of the gun. So I knew he was still shooting at me, and I knew I had to stop him. I couldn't take another hit. I didn't know if he was dead, faking it, or out of ammunition. I only knew I had to let somebody out there know I was in trouble. I was badly hurt. My left hand was useless, and they had no phone. I had to get to my radio and call in at 10:30. Officer shot, officer down.
Any unit to 1252 South 2nd?
513 on the way. 514 on the way.
512, your location?
Apartment 5. What you want me to do? You want me to take away his gun? Yes, get it.
I was afraid to sit down, afraid that if I did, I would give up and die right there. I wondered what it would feel like to die, if it was like in a movie, when everything goes to black. I was waiting for the black.
It's gonna be okay.
Oh, my God.
Where's the hole? I can't see it.
Connie!
I can't see it.
Connie!
We need 2 EMS wagons. Get to the crew.
Connie, it's okay. Just don't move around.
I didn't know Robinson was dead. This man had just shot me 3 times, and I'm hollering to get him an EMS wagon. It's ironic that if you have to shoot somebody, you then have to do your best to save their life. I knew I'd been shot in the face, but EMS couldn't see the hole at first and didn't believe me. The chief of police went nuts because they made me walk down 2 flights of stairs. When they saw the hole in my face, they turned white as a sheet. I just kept asking God to take care of my son.
Hello.
Hello, is this Connie Higgins?
Yes.
And are you related to Officer Higgins?
This is her mother.
Or Miss Higgins, but Connie was shot this evening. Right? She's in stable.
Yes, we'll be right there. Your mother's been hurt, but she's okay.
Was she shot?
Yes. Yes, she was shot, but she's okay. Now you get dressed and we'll go see her. Go on, Guy, hurry up now.
I can't go. I can't. I feel sick.
Guy.
I was 7 years old when my mother was shot. When my grandmother first told me the news, I just went numb. I can still remember that sick feeling in the pit of my stomach. I didn't know what to expect. It wasn't until later I heard that she was shot in the face. I thought, my mom has no face. I didn't think I could walk in this room and see her.
Careful. Oh, what is it? It's not worth it. It's just not worth it.
I was in the hospital for a week. The ear, nose, and throat doctors said the bullet that was lodged in my neck could affect my speech. So they went in and got it out. I still have a bullet in my shoulder, and I've lost the feeling in the tips of 3½ fingers. I could physically do about 90% of what I could before, but some things were changed forever. I was only off work for 3 months. The department said, if you need any help, you just let us know. But that's really hard for a cop to do, especially a female cop.
You don't have to go back.
Mom, we've been through this.
You're not ready, Connie.
What is that supposed to mean?
It means, since when do you always sleep with the lights on?
Well, you should have talked with the doctors like they asked you to.
I couldn't do that.
Because you're too stubborn. You practically get killed and you think everything will just go on like before, like it hadn't happened to you.
You won't go back on the street, will you, Mom? You promised me.
Just what do you expect me to do? Go back to being a secretary?
There are other jobs.
Don't you get it? I like being a cop. It's what I want to do. Guy.
My first job was on a desk running the gym. Then I went back on the streets. Then one night I got another routine run, same part of town, same close quarters, same type of people. Were shaking. I thought, I'm going to kill somebody that doesn't deserve to die. And that's when I knew. I was diagnosed as having post-traumatic stress disorder, the same as Vietnam veterans. The doctor told me I could never work the street again. The department said, if you can't work the street, then you have to take retirement. I loved being a cop. I used to be really angry at what Robinson had done. When I was in so much pain, I literally wanted to dig him up and shoot him again. But now what I feel is he's just not important. I don't care about him anymore. I'm 32 now and finishing my second year of studies to be an emergency room nurse. I had intended to have a career in law enforcement, but my retirement turned out to be a blessing. I've been asked that if I could go back to being 21 and find out that all this would happen, that I'd be shot but be okay and go to college, would I do it again? No.
We'll be back in a moment with the beautiful blonde in Big Trouble and the real Dick Tracy.
Lance, meet the new Matisse. I'm good. But can Marlon turn his fame into a
fool with nothing to live for?
How do you help someone who's determined to die? A good friend of mine in high school killed himself. A cousin of my father's, who I liked a lot, killed himself too. This really hurt me. I wondered why they did it. To me, nothing can be that bad. Procedure says when you find someone who threatens to kill themselves, you keep them talking. But there comes a time when the talking ends. To save a life, you also have to act. It was just after midnight. I was driving home. I had been working patrol, a 3 to midnight shift. It was a cool night, and I was excited and nervous. My wife and I were expecting our second child to be born any time now. The Notre Dame Bridge, or the Bridge Street Bridge, which is what everyone in town calls it, over Route 3. I had just driven onto it when I saw her. The first thing that struck me was, what's she doing here? People use the bridge to walk over, but no one hangs out there. Also, her sitting with her legs over the other side bothered me. If I made a U-turn and pulled up, I might spook her. So I found a payphone and dialed 911.
Manchester 911.
This is Dick Tracy. There's a girl on the south side of Notre Dame Bridge. I think she's going to jump.
All right, we'll send a couple of cruisers around.
Well, tell them to hurry. I'm going to go see what I can do.
Manchester Police Department has officers who negotiate with people threatening suicide. They tell you to use common sense. Keep the person occupied and relaxed. Get them to talk about what's bothering them. I had the best chance of gaining her confidence if I pretended to be an ordinary civilian out for a walk. I don't know what the comic book Dick Tracy would have felt, but I knew what I felt. I felt scared. I'd never dealt with a jumper before.
Hey, what are you doing? How you doing? You okay?
Get away! Stay away! Come any closer, I'm gonna jump! What's wrong with you? Didn't you hear me? Stop right there, I'm gonna jump! Did you hear me, you son of a bitch? Stop, I'm gonna jump!
I'm sorry, okay? I'm not moving, I'm right here.
This girl was different from all the other people I had worked with who threatened suicide. From the pain and panic in her eyes, I knew she wanted to die. Only one bit of doubt was holding her on to life.
My name's Dick. Dick Tracy. No kidding. What's yours?
I want it to end.
What?
I want living to end.
You don't have to do this, you know. It's never worth it. I bet you got lots of people worried about you right now.
Stay away from me! What's wrong with you? Do you want me to jump right now? Just stay away from me!
All that kept her from going over were her fingertips, just barely holding onto the railing.
What's that? You stay away from me! You come near me and I'll jump!
The patrolman was Billy Brennan, big guy but gentle. I knew he'd be good with her. He had the same idea as me, keep her talking. Because he was in uniform, the girl gave Billy most of her attention. So I was able to get a little closer to her.
Why not just talk to us?
Shut the dog up! I can't stand it!
On a suicide attempt, they always send 2 cars. Mark Folk is with the Canine Division. He always has his dog in the back.
Shut up! Shut up!
Calm down. The dog can't get you.
I thought, the girl can't take anymore. Her eyes locked on the car, her body tensed.
The more you talk, the better you'll feel.
Shut the dog up! Don't come any closer.
Listen to me. There are people who can help you.
Tell him to stop! Tell the damn dog to be quiet!
She turned to look at Brennan and the dog. I saw my chance. It was now or never. I kept asking her why she wanted to kill herself, but she was still screaming and swearing at me for saving her life. We put her in a car to take her to the station. Her name was Diane James, and she had no criminal record.
You're so young. Why would you want to kill yourself?
I told you. It hurts. Living hurts.
That was all she could tell me. I looked into her eyes. I could see she still wanted to die.
I was in a lot of pain that night. I wanted it to stop, and jumping from the bridge was the only way I could think of stopping it. It surprised me that someone really gave a damn what happened to me. I didn't think that anyone cared. But it wasn't a question of now she's saved and she lived happily ever after. I resisted kindness for a couple more years. But by the end of 1988, things really started to turn around. I'm back in school now, and I'm not sure what I want to do, but it's nice to have the chance to find out.
2 days after this incident, my wife and I had a baby. And I thought, here's a new life. And only 2 days ago, somebody wanted to end her life. I know at first Diane was angry at me for intervening, but I had to help her. Being a cop has its down moments, but that was a time of great satisfaction, and I was glad it all ended well.
We'll be right back with tonight's top cops and the aftermaths of their stories.
He wears it all the time. It's not just his favorite shirt, it's his lucky shirt. Don't risk it, whisk it. Introducing new Whisk with Color Hold bleaching action. Whisk's special Color Hold formula gets rid of tough stains and keeps colors bright. No matter how many times...
Hi, Mom.
...you wash...
Hi, Mom.
...his favorite shirt. Hi, Mom. Don't risk it, whisk it. New Whisk with Color Hold bleaching action.
Emergency room doctors rely on medicines.
A gunman strikes without warning. Now, it's a cop's turn to strike back. Next, Top Cops.
Mother Nature strikes back on America's Funniest Home Videos.
B20, KOFY, it's what your friends are watching.
Remember this number, 800-273-6179. If you've been divorced or been through bankruptcy, you may find yourself without credit. Now, if you need a car, where do you turn?
Call Hayward Nissan at 1-800-273-6179.
With our automated credit system, you can get fast approval.
It's easy.
No sales reps?
No hassles.
It really works.
Call us anytime. You can see why we're the dealer on your side.
Ray and I set up Sunday.
Gotta get my fishing in sometime.
Believe. All day strong, all day long.
For an official Real Stories of the Highway Patrol merchandise catalog, send your name and address to Real Stories of the Highway Patrol, P.O. Box 6188, Burbank, California, 91510-6188.
Long on chocolate flavor, short on fat for 100 years. Tootsie Roll, 66% less fat than most of the 20 leading chocolate brands.
Mighty Mite, lightweight power for carpets, bare floors, car, workshop. Now priced to move. Mighty Mite, only from Eureka.
Elmer Lewis Robinson had an FBI rap sheet 3 pages long. He'd been in prison longer than Officer Higgins had been alive. Connie Higgins was the first woman officer to be awarded Louisville's Medal of Honor, as well as receiving an honorable mention by the International Police Officer of the Year Committee. She retired from the Louisville Police Department in 1988 and is studying to be an emergency room nurse. Diane James received treatment in a health facility connected to New Hampshire's Concord State Hospital. Today she is a sophomore at the University of New Hampshire and credits Dick Tracy not only with saving, but changing her life. This program brought her together with him so she could finally thank him personally. Patrolman Tracy is now a detective working in the juvenile division of the Manchester Police Department.